So hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is a tutorial on how to draft a basic bodice pattern. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I'll just go ahead to do from the top of my paper is to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder line, okay, and my top line. So I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder line, and I'll just go ahead and connect all the lines that I marked together like this, as you can see me doing right here. So this is my shoulder line, and this is where all my measurement will start from. So when I'm done, I'll go ahead and mark my bust point. My bust point is 10 inches, and from this shoulder line that I marked, I will go ahead and mark 10 inches like so, as you can see me doing. And the next line I will go ahead and mark from my shoulder line is to mark my half length. Now the front half length is different from the back half length, okay? And my front half length is 17 inches. And I also go ahead and mark from the top of my paper like this. That is from my shoulder line like this. And I also go ahead and connect it like so, as you can see me showing you right here. When I'm done, I will come down by 9 inches from my half length to get my hip line. Okay, I'll come down by 9 inches from my half length to get my hip line, as you can see me doing. And I'll just go ahead and connect all the lines together like so. So when I'm done, I'll just go ahead and label them: my shoulder line, my bust point, my half length, and my hip line. Okay, as you can see right here. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to take my shoulder measurement, and I'll be starting from the midpoint of my pattern paper like so, as you can see me showing you right here. And I'll divide my shoulder measurement, which is 16 inches, divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. Okay, so you can just go ahead and get your shoulder measurement and divide your tape like this. You fold your tape like so, okay, in order for you to get an accurate measurement. And whatever you have, that is your shoulder divided by 2 like this. And I'll go ahead and mark. And the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to get my neck width. And for your neck width, you can just go ahead and divide your bust circumference by 12, and whatever you have, you mark there. So mine is 3.5 inches, and I've gone ahead to mark it right here. So from my shoulder measurement that I took earlier, I will come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. And when I'm done, I'll go ahead and mark. Now to get my armhole depth, I will divide my bust circumference by 6, and I'll add 1.5. And whatever I have, I'll go ahead and mark it starting from my shoulder slope, okay? And I'll mark it right here. Now in order for me to have a straight line, I'll replace what I have on my shoulder line on this armhole depth like so, as you can see me doing. And I'll just go ahead and connect all the lines together. I will connect from my shoulder slope to meet my armhole depth line that I marked earlier, and also go ahead and extend the line like so, giving it an L shape, as you can see right here. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to divide my bust circumference on this line, which is now my chest line, by 4. Yes, I'll divide my bust circumference by 4, and I'll go ahead and mark. When I'm done on my armhole depth, I'll get the midpoint of my armhole depth like so, and I'll come in by 1/2 of an inch like this, as you can see me doing right here. And I'll go ahead and connect the 3 lines together like this, as you can see me placing my ruler. I'll connect from the 1 inch to meet the 1/2 of an inch that I came in by, and also from the 1/2 of an inch to meet the bust circumference like so, okay? So when I'm done, I'll just go ahead and connect my neck width to meet my shoulder slope, and this is what we have. So the next thing for me to do is to input 1/2 of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. Mine is 8 inches, and I'll go ahead and divide it by 2, which is 4 inches. I'll input it on my bust point, my half length, and I'll come down by 6 inches below my half length, and also input the 4 inches like so, okay? And I'll go ahead and connect all the lines together. Connecting all the lines together like so, as you can see me doing. So the next thing is to take my dart. Now from one side of this, my line that I ruled earlier, I'll go ahead and measure half of an inch on both sides. Please, if your bust circumference is from 36 to 38, you can use half of an inch on both sides. But if it's more than 38 inches, please use 0.7 inches, okay, for your dart intake. So mine is 41 inches, so I went ahead to use 0.7 inches for both sides, okay, like so, as you can see right here. And the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to input my measurements like so. So on my bust point, I'll go ahead and divide my bust circumference by 4. And whatever I have, I'll go ahead and mark. On my waistline, I'll divide my waist circumference by 4, and whatever I have, I will mark, and I'll replace my darts, okay? And the next thing I'll do is to divide my hip circumference on my hip line, and whatever I have, I'll go ahead and mark right there, as you can see me doing. So the next thing is to connect all lines together. I'll start from my chest line and I'll connect it to meet my half length like so. And using the curvy side of my ruler, I'll just go ahead and connect from my half length to meet my hip line like this, okay? That means I'll connect from my chest to my waistline and from my waistline to my hip line. The next thing I'll go ahead to do is to take my side dart. Now, remember I said my front half length is different from my back half length. So the difference between my front half length is what I will mark as my side dart. So mine is 2 inches and I'll come down by 2 inches from my bust point line. Okay, I'll come down by 2 inches from my bust point line and mark, and I'll connect it to meet my dart like so, okay, as you can see right here. The next thing for me to do is to take my neck depth. And for my neck depth, I'll be using a round neckline. So I'll go ahead and mark 3.5 inches for my neck depth, and I'll give it a square shape. I mark 3.5 inches for the depth and also mark 3.5 inches on all sides in order for me to have a square shape before converting it to a round neckline. So from the side of this shape, I will come in by 1 inch, and I'll connect from my neck width to meet the 1 inch that I came in by, and from the 1 inch I'll connect it to meet the neck depth like so, okay, as you can see me placing my ruler. So this will give you a perfect round neck line, okay, as you can see right here. So you can go ahead to do 3 inches by 3 inches for your neck depth and neck width, okay, and that's so fine. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to increase my my side darts, so that by the time I am taking my darts, I will not be having like shortness of fabric. So I'll go ahead and extend my darts like this. Or another method for you to do on this particular side is to close your dart. Yes, you go ahead and close your side dart and retrace the line, okay? Is to go ahead and close your side dart and retrace the line like this, okay, as you can see me doing like so. So I am done with this front pattern, and let's move to the back pattern. So I'll do the same thing I did on my front pattern by coming down by 1 inch for my shoulder line and also as my top line like so, okay, and I also go ahead and connect it like this, as you can see me doing right here. So the next thing I'll also go ahead to do right now is to get my back half length. Now remember I said my front half length is different from my back half length. My front half length is 15 inches, while my back half length is my front half length is 17 inches, while my back half length is 15 inches, okay? Now let me take this again. My front half length is 17 inches and my back half length is 15 inches. So I went from my shoulder line to mark my back half length, which is 15 inches, and that's it. So when I'm done, I will come down from my half length, yes, by 9 inches to get my hip line, okay? I'll come down from my back half length by 9 inches. The same thing I did for my front pattern, okay? I'll come down from my back half length by 9 inches to get my hip line, like so, as you can see me doing. And when I'm done, I also come from my shoulder line to get my bust point, which is 10 inches, and I'll go ahead and mark like this, as you can see me doing right here. I'll just go ahead and mark like so, as you can see me doing. So I'll go ahead and label them: my shoulder line, my bust point, my half length, and my hip line. Okay, like so, as you can see me doing right here. So the next thing I will go ahead to do is to take my neck width, which is the same thing I did for my front pattern, which is 3.5 inches, and I'll also go ahead and divide my shoulder measurement by 2 and mark. And I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, like this, as you can see me doing. And from my 1 inch, I'll go ahead and divide my bust circumference by 6 and add 1.5. That will be my armhole depth. And I'll just go ahead and mark like so, okay? As you can see me doing right here. I'll just go ahead and mark like this. And I'll just go ahead and extend all the lines. Now, whatever I have on my shoulder line, I'll still place it on my armhole depth, so that I'll be able to have a straight line. So I'll go ahead and extend this line like this, and I'll connect from my 1 inch to meet my armhole depth. That's the 1 inch I came down for my shoulder slope. I'll connect from it to meet my armhole depth, and this will give me an L shape like this. Okay, so this is now my chest line. So I'll also go ahead and get the midpoint of my armhole depth, and I'll go ahead and mark. And I'll divide my bust circumference on my chest line by 4 inches, and I'll mark like this, okay, as you can see me doing right here. Using my ruler, the curvy side of my ruler, I'll just go ahead and connect from my bust circumference to meet the half of my armhole depth like this, okay? Just give it a C shape. And I'll go ahead and connect to my shoulder slope to make my neck width. And this is what we have. So for my neck depth, I will come down by 1 inch for my neck depth like this, okay? And I'll go ahead and connect it to meet my neck width like this, as you can see right here. Okay, and this is what we have. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to input half of my nipple to nipple on my bust point. Now I'll start this from my chest line, okay? But let's place it now on our bust point, on our waistline, and also 6 inches below our waistline like this, okay? As you can see me doing. And I'll just go ahead and extend my chest line like this. As I said earlier, that I'll be inputting half of my nipple to nipple on my chest line. So I'll just go ahead and input half of my nipple to nipple, which is 4 inch on my chest line, like so. So when I'm done, I'll just go ahead and connect all the lines together like this, as you can see me doing. I'll just go ahead and connect all the lines together like this, as you can see me doing right here. So from my waistline, I also go ahead and come in by 0.7 on both sides. Please remember what I said. If your bust is from 36, 38 downwards, please use half of an inch, but when it's more than, you can use 0.7 inches, okay? And let's just go ahead and connect them like this, as you can see right here. I'll connect it to meet my chest line and also down to meet my hip line like this, okay? As you can see me doing right here. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to input my measurements, okay? Dividing my bust circumference by 4, and I'll just go ahead and mark. And also divide my waist circumference by 4, and I'll replace my dot on this line, okay? And I'll just go ahead and mark like so. So the next thing I'll do is to divide my hip circumference by 4, and I'll also go ahead and mark it on my hip line, and connecting all the lines that we have like this on both sides. I'll connect it straight from my chest line area to meet my waistline, and from my waistline using the curvy side of my ruler to meet my hip line, okay? So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do right now is to eliminate my zipper bulge. So I'll go ahead and get a dart for it. So from the midpoint of my waistline, I will come in by 0.7 inch, okay? So if you're on a smaller size, you can do half inch. So, and I'll come down by 6 inches, and I'll go ahead and mark from my waistline. So from my neckline, I'll connect it to meet the 0.7 inch I came in by from my waistline like this, okay? And from this waistline, I'll connect it to meet the 6 inches that I came down by, okay? So by doing this, your zip will sit perfectly well without bulging at your back, okay? So the next method I also go ahead to do to eliminate my zipper bulge is to come up by 0.7 inch on both sides. I'll come up by 0.7 inch from the half length and also come down by 0.7 inch from the half length. Okay, and please, if you're also on a smaller size, please, you can do 0.5 inch. Okay, you can do 0.5 inch. If your bust is from 36 38, you can do 0.5 inch. Okay, and if you know you do not really have like a back fat, yes, you can do 0.5 inch. So the next thing I'll just go ahead and replace the 0.7 inches that I came in by on my waistline. Okay, that's after my waist measurement, so that my back will not be too tight when I am done zipping up. Okay, I'll just go ahead and replace it. If you took half inch for yours, you just go ahead and replace it so that your back will not be too tight by the time you are done. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and connect it like so, as you can see me doing. So I'm giving it a faint line so you can understand the difference between the two lines that I have there. Okay, like so. So this is it. So when I'm done, I'll just go ahead and reconnect the lines together. That is from that 0.7 inches that I came down by. I will go ahead and reconnect it back to meet that 0.7 inch that I replaced earlier. Okay, like so, as you can see me doing right here. So by the time you do all this, your zip will not bulge. Okay, so when you're done, you go ahead and close the horizontal dart that we did. Yes, you go ahead and close the horizontal dart like this and reconnect the vertical dart. Okay, just look at how I will do it. I'll go ahead and close it like this, and I will reconnect the vertical dart like this. Okay, so this horizontal dart, you use your masking tape to cover it up. Yes, you place it very well, and you cover this horizontal dart the same way I am doing here, because it's not supposed to show on your fabric. Okay, so you cover it up before transferring your pattern to your fabric. And on this other part, yes, where my marker is pointing right now, I'll go ahead and cut it off. Okay, that's this other part, so just go ahead and take them off. And for the other horizontal dart, we'll close it before transferring it to our fabric. Okay, and that's just basically all for our pattern. So you can see the back pattern and you can see the front pattern, so you can tell the difference. The half length is different from, that's the front half length is different from the back half length, and there is a side dart at the front pattern. Okay, as you can see right here. So if you've watched to this point, thank you so much for watching, and on my next tutorial I'll be teaching you guys how to sew a basic bodice dress. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Bye.